Guys, and welcome to another Honkai Star Rail video. Alright, so I have another Pure Fiction video for you guys today, and in this season of Pure Fiction, it's all about basic attacks and ultimates. Saying this, I tried to get funny and creative again with my Imbibe Lunane on the first half. That didn't go too well. After that, I tried doing solo runs with Himiko as the main DPS and 3 supporting characters. That didn't go too well either because actually there's only one enemy that's weak to fire here. And Himiko needs the enemies to be weakness broken in order to pop off. So I've learned basically you need a partner that can weakness break the enemies. If I had Herta built up, this would have been perfect. Himiko Herta is a really good Pure Fiction combo. But I didn't want to build up my Herta, nor did I have the resources to. So as a result, we went with the good old boring Firefly combo that kind of basically forced the enemies to be weak to fire, which allowed Himiko to pop off. I know it's boring. Every time I use Firefly, it makes it kind of unfun, but I just wanted to clear Pure Fiction fairly easily this time. Anyways, going over the team for the first half, we have Himiko, Fugue, who I actually used Fugue to buff up Himiko, so she could apply more weakness break and toughness bar reduction. Firefly to be the main DPS and to implant the fire weakness to allow Himiko to pop off as well. And then Ruan-Mei obviously in any break team for the weakness break, break effect, and break efficiency as well. As for the buff, I chose the break damage one in the middle. I could have chosen the follow-up one, but I figured if I have Firefly, Fugue, and Ruan-Mei, this one would probably be more beneficial towards the team. As for the second team, I pretty much ran my traditional Acheron team with Trippy. So the team is Acheron, Pella as our Nihility character, Fushren as our supporter, and Trippy as our second supporter / Harmony character. As for the buff, I went for the follow-up attack buff along with the skill buff. Trippy is the only one that does follow-up attacks, but she does it so frequently that this actually ends up stacking fairly often. And sometimes I do use the skill on Pella and occasionally Acheron as well. Alright, not much other than that. I hope you guys enjoy the gameplay and commentary as usual. So, for the first half, we have Ruan-Mei's technique, Fugue's technique to stun the boss, and then we initiate the fight with Firefly's technique to also implant the fire weakness. Here we're going to buff up Himiko. That way she can weakness break or attack the toughness bars of the opponents. Pop Ruan-Mei's ultimate immediately. It's Firefly's turn. We're going to kill off this mob here with the skill. Immediately pop the, ultimate on Firefly. Of course, Himiko pops off like crazy here. The minute any of these mobs get weakness broken, she literally pops off like a machine gun. You'll see in the upcoming fights. Alright, there's some weakness breaking. There's Himiko again, popping off. We even have the ultimate up. It's Firefly's turn again. In fact, she's going to use even more follow-up attacks here before even her ultimate. A little bit inefficient when it comes to energy regeneration, but look at her. She's just popping off like crazy. Finally, Himiko pops her ult. Also does a fair amount of damage as well. And another follow-up. As you can see, if you're able to weakness break the enemies, Himiko is an absolute monster. But when you run her solo with 3 supports or her allies can't really help out with the weakness breaking, and she can't weakness break the enemies herself, she's mediocre at best. I had the most issues on the second wave when I ran Himiko as a solo DPS, because all the mobs here are like, there's the main enemy boss is weak to fire. Everyone else doesn't have a fire weakness, so this is where she struggled the most. But with Firefly, or any other character that is corresponding to the weakness of the enemies, she'll pop off like this, like crazy. I did have a little bit of issues here on this second half with the stupid TVs that like the swap modes every time you hit them. So I had to pay very close attention to which one I hit in order to prevent my, team from losing energy. But it's kind of difficult when your Himiko is constantly follow-up attacking. Like, it's very hard to predict what mode they're going to turn into, because if she does a follow-up attack randomly, and it hits them, they'll turn angry or they'll turn back in their happy mode. So I had to keep up with that. Here I didn't have a choice. Either or, one of the TVs was going to steal my energy, and of course the TV I hit gives the energy to the worst target possible, which is Firefly. Lovely. Gotta love this game sometimes when it comes to RNG. Alright, there's Himiko again, popping off. Himiko again. Those follow-ups are doing quite a bit of damage. You saw that was like 400k from just a single follow-up. I use the skill here and also cause the TV to go into happy mode. I'm gonna pop the ultimate, which is gonna make them all angry again, but it weakness breaks them, so it probably kills them too. Yeah, I figured I was gonna kill them anyways. With a there's another follow-up. Just if you guys are like play low game, take a little shot every time. What do you call it? A shot of alcohol every time Himiko does a follow-up attack. I guarantee you won't make it through the end of this video, or even the first half of this video. Like, Jesus Christ. I actually sort of make a mistake here. I wanted to, what do you call it, save skill points. Because I was like, the boss is almost dead. I could probably kill off this mob with a basic here. I didn't, for some reason. And as you can see, we lost energy. And the mob didn't die. So, I should have just used my skill there. I don't know why I was being so stingy with my skill points. There, I wanted to save skill points for our next round. We get a little bit unlucky here. And as you can see, Himiko is very close to death. If she gets hit one more time, we're going to be in trouble here. Alright, on to the last wave. I got lucky here that it reset my Firefly's ultimate. I popped it a little bit early. So, since it reset it, I figured, okay, I'm just going to wait until Firefly takes her turn and then use the ultimate. There's no need to advance forward her right away right here. Alright, hit this target. Pop the ultimate on Himiko. No one's really weak to fire other than the main boss. But we're going to hit this mob here. This will also regenerate some energy because, as you saw, there's like a counter on these new mobs. If you hit them a certain amount of times, you actually regenerate energy for the teammate who hits them. Alright, here we go. So it's Firefly's turn. We're just going to eat basic here because we don't even need to waste the skill. We already have enough energy for the ultimate, and the basic was more than enough to kill off that mob. Alright, we get the reset here. Himiko pops off like crazy again. Gonna hit the main boss. Raw Mace, going to basic here. Get some energy back. Himiko's gonna pop off again. I would like to prioritize the, what do you call it, the little bugs instead of the other mobs. I don't know what to call them. We'll just call them the new mobs with the counter next to them. I like to prefer the mob swarms, or the swarm mobs, because they provide like a vulnerability buff to the main boss. Decent damage, didn't quite kill, however. We get really unlucky here, and the mob target Himiko. And I figured, okay, this is probably the end for Himiko, because she does have a wind shear debuff on her, as you can see. So she's probably dead on her next turn, so I'm trying to get as much value out of her before she dies. So I want to be weakness breaking as many mobs as possible, allowing her to use that follow-up attack to deal as much damage as possible. So there you go. The true sting is finally up. We get a little bit lucky, and Himiko didn't get targeted, so she's still alive for a little bit. Target's Fugue. Now we gotta refresh the skill on Roommate. We're gonna kill off this mob to the side. Also popping Fugue's ultimate here, which should allow Himiko to get another follow-up attack. Another follow-up attack. And I was thinking to myself here, as soon as Himiko takes her turn, it's going to be over for her. And Firefly would have to solo this. But it turns out, she lives with 123 HP. Very lucky. So she still gets to take her turn. She even gets the weakness break, the main boss here. Do a follow-up attack, followed by another ultimate. Pretty solid, overall. And with this, she'll do another follow-up attack because we're going to weakness break some mobs here. She's going to do another one here because she's already at 3 out of 3. And then Firefly needs to use her skill to get enough energy. I figure I'll just kill something to guarantee that I have enough energy for the ultimate here. Target the newly spawned bug here. Himeko fires off another follow-up attack. Hopefully none of you guys already passed out from the alcohol that you've been drinking. You've been doing that little shot game I was talking about. Here I decided I'm just going to hit the main boss, because he's almost dead. And then the follow-up attack or the extra damage would have killed him off. And there you go, that's the first half. Not too bad. Fairly simple. Second half, we have Triby's technique into Fushuan's technique, and then we initiate the fight with Pella's technique. Alright, I'm going to be honest with you guys. This half, I misplayed quite a bit. Because I was so tired already from doing the attempts in the first half using Lunane and solo Himeko that I kind of just like, I don't know, I was just really tired by the time I got to the second half. So I did mess up quite a bit on this run. It was not clean at all. But we did manage to pull it off. You'll see in a moment how lucky we got. Regardless on this half still, Acheron's amazing, and Triby is like probably one of the best supports you can run. Because she does so many follow-up attacks, and she uses her basic attack and ultimate. So you will be getting into the Surging Grit, or whatever phase you want to call it. I think it's called Surging Grit. Relatively quick, and fairly frequently as well. Alright. Fushuan's also not too bad either. She has an attacking basic and ultimate as well. So she's like the perfect sustain for this half. Even though she doesn't do much damage, she does charge up the Resurging Tide fairly fastly. Alright, we're just going to attack this mob here. The basic should kill him off. My Trippy actually doesn't do that much damage unless we're within this phase, because then this phase, I think you do like true damage or something. So then the damage actually adds up. And Acheron, of course, is just going to overkill all the mobs as usual. Alright, so this wave is almost done. I figured I'm just going to pop the ultimate on Pela here. Because if we don't, it's going to take up too many turns, and I kind of want to end the first wave before we take up another turn. So, as the first wave. On the second wave, there's this general here. You have to hit him on a certain amount of turns, and then you'll regenerate some energy for your team. Trying to kill off some of the side mobs here. The skill didn't do quite enough damage, unfortunately. With the refresh to skill on Triby. Gotta be careful though, we are out of skill points right now. I figured he's gonna take his turn, and whenever these enemies take their turns, they reset the counter on them to be hit, which I should have known. You'll see shortly in the third wave where I make that big mistake. And it almost cost me this run, but take note of that basically. Here I'm trying to finish off this last mob so I get full value out of Acheron's ultimate. I didn't want to pop Acheron's ultimate right away because that mob was literally like 10 HP from dying. And I wanted to clear out as many mobs as possible with her ult. So Fushuan finished it off there. There's the Surging Grit into Fushuan's ultimate, which will trigger up more follow-up attacks. I'm going to kill off some of the side mobs here. Like I said, I want to get as much value out of Acheron's ultimate as possible. I think I try to kill off this mob with Pela and Triby. We end up killing him off, and then now we'll pop Acheron's ultimate again. The freshly spawned mob. I'm gonna pop the ultimate on Pela. Triby is gonna do her follow-up again. We're gonna pop the ultimate again. You can see Triby's like a mini version of Himeko. Himeko does more damage, but Triby, is tankier and relatively, I guess, more universally usable on more teams. But I mean, they both function the same way. They just have such high attack frequency that they're just absolutely broken in pure fiction. But they do need some support. They most of the time cannot solo carry in pure fiction, especially Triby. Triby's damage is, unless you have like her light cone and really cracked relics and you're running slow Triby, her damage isn't really that significant. But her buffs are all universal, so pretty good overall. Alright, there's the second wave. On to the last wave, where I play like an absolute donkey. You'll see in a moment here. So you see the counter on top of Nikador? No, Savage God, whatever. I think his name is Nikador, according to the story or whatever. See that counter at the top? what do you call it? I know that I'm not going to take enough actions before his turn. So I should have been saving or targeting the other mobs instead of hitting him here. I figured, because I also noticed that Tribi needs the skill here, so that's one attack down. And Fu Xuan needs the Matrix as well. So if I basicked with both those characters, then we would have been able to pop the counter on him and get some energy back. And I make the grand mistake here of using Tribi's ultimate and then Fu Xuan's ultimate, because I was like, okay, we can break the thing. And it does go to 0 out of 7, and we do regenerate some energy. The problem is, also, I should have saved Acheron's ultimate here. You see there's one mob that's basically dead, so that was a complete waste of Acheron's ultimate as well. So I should have been saving all those ultimates, and as you can see, the minute his turn is over, that counter resets to what? To 7 out of 7. Also, I also ran out of skill points on Acheron, as you saw there at the basic attack. So a complete disaster. I was honestly thinking about resetting this run after just making that many mistakes. But I figured I'd just still roll with it and see if we could at least maybe full clear it. If we get lucky, which you'll see in a moment we do. Alright, so trying to recover from that huge mistake that I did there. Tribi's ultimate. I know for sure now. For sure, we should be able to, what do you call it, get the counter down to 0, or 0 out of 7. Because Fu Xuan doesn't need to use her Matrix. She can attack the boss right here. Although she doesn't need to because Acheron is about to use her ultimate into the skill. I believe I used the ultimate, yeah. Because if we don't, we'd be wasting Crimson Knot stacks. And all the mobs are fairly... they're not low enough to the point where I think the skill would have killed anyways. Right, now we're going to use the skill. Try to kill this mob off here. Doesn't quite kill it off. Man, the mobs in Pure Fiction are getting tankier and tankier compared to like the earlier seasons or even like before the rework. Like, it's actually kind of a pain to kill some of these side mobs nowadays. They just have so much HP. It's actually ridiculous. Alright, here's the Acheron ultimate again. Does about 1.2 million. Not too bad. Trying to clear out some of the side mobs here as well. Although, I figured since we got Palo's ultimate here, I guess we just target the main target. Build up the Crimson Knot stacks. I should be hitting that mob. Yep. We'll get energy and we kill off the other mob to the side. Choosing a target, honestly, I tried to kill that one off. Couldn't quite do it. Fu Xuan just doesn't do enough damage. Alright, Tribi's ultimate again. I think I should have saved it. Oh, never mind. We got... Okay, I timed it pretty well. Because I figured I might have done it a little bit early, but it turns out the counter did not reset that time. I guess because it was the end of his turn. Alright, here's Acheron's ultimate. 6 out of 12 once he's in this phase. The ultimates actually... what do you call it? Actually, I think ultimates and follow-up attacks, because I just saw Tribi's follow-up attack take down 2 from that counter. Or is it just all attacks? I guess it's just all attacks. Okay, then. Anyways, with this ultimate on Pela, he'll be at 0 out of 12. We all regenerate energy. And we're almost out of cycles here. I thought it was going to be over, but I figured we're going to have Tribi's ultimate here. This will push up Fu Xuan because of Dance, Dance, Dance. And then Fu Xuan will have her ultimate here, because I can tell that we have enough energy. But I figured to instead of killing off that one mob there, I figured I'm going to weakness break one of the other mobs to guarantee the Crimson Knot stack for Acheron. Into the ultimate, which will give her another Crimson Knot stack, followed by a Tribi follow-up attack. Into the buff here, Surging Grip buff. Into the ultimate. And I thought this was going to be the finisher here. But he actually lives with, as you can see here, 1 HP. But then we get lucky because of the follow-up attack into Pela's ultimate. Into another Tribi follow-up attack to finish things off. Clutch as hell. With a perfect run, 80k. Alrighty, let me go over my characters and their builds real quick. Starting off with Himiko. These are her stats. It's basically a base speed Himiko. Full damage. Light cone is the seriousness of breakfast at S5. Traces. Still need to max her ultimate and maybe her skill, but we'll work on that later. I think she did a fairly good job overall. These are her relics. I have her on a 2-piece Musketeer, 2-piece Ash Blazing Grand Duke. Unfortunately, I don't have good enough pieces for a 4-piece. I could make a 4-piece on her, but honestly, the Musketeer pieces are just too good to pass up. Yeah, these are all basically perfect stats. It even has a little bit of break effect in it for this break effect team. For the Planar Sphere, I have her on the Duran set, although it didn't really work because there's no other characters that do follow up on this particular team comp. But if I had Herda, this Duran set is actually pretty insane, especially this Fire Orb. The minute I saw and rolled this, I was like, oh my god, this is basically perfect for Himiko. The rope is alright. Actually, the rope is pretty good too. Double crit, or actually triple crit, and then 1 into flat attack, which is decent. Might even use this on my Fei Xiao, or swap it in between her and Fei Xiao, depending on who I use. So this one's not bad. As for Eidolon, she's at Eidolon 0. Okay, moving on to Fugue. These are her stats. Lycone, I actually have her on before the tutorial mission starts at S5. Normally I have her on the Sweaty Lycone, but since I don't have her with Acheron, and Pella also needs a Lycone, I figured I'd run this on her, and Pella would get the Sweaty Lycone since I want the extra defense break and Crimson Knot stacks from Pella. So I put this on, Fugue instead this time around. These are her traces. Relics. Normally I have her on a effect hit rate helm, but since that Lycone gave her 40% effect hit rate, I figured I'd just throw an attack percent headpiece with a lot of break effect on her, and she'll be like, I don't know, another sub DPS or something. I have to swap back to her different build, or the effect hit rate headpiece, whenever I get the chance. Eidolon, she's at Eidolon 0. Alright, next is Firefly. Pretty much the exact same stats. Nothing much has changed on her. Ever since she's pretty much almost done. There's just a little bit of min-maxing when it comes to her relics. But aside from that, she does her job very well. Maybe too well. To the point where it actually makes the game a little bit too boring at times. And just no room for creativity. Eidolon, she's at Eidolon 2. Alright, and last on the first half is Ruan-Mei. These are her stats. Lycone is Dance 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 at S1. Honestly, I'm not even sure if I should have been running this Lycone on her, because her energy regeneration or rotations aren't that great for this particular Lycone, and it's at S1. Maybe I should have just used, where's that Lycone? The break effect Lycone. This one right here. I forgot the name already, but this Lycone that gives her break effect and energy regeneration, and we would have lost out on the, the advance forward. I don't know, it might have helped out, it might have actually saved us a couple of turns or cycles. Regardless, not the best option on her, especially at S1. These are her traces. Relics, I have her on a 4-piece Watchmaker set. And a 2-piece energy regeneration set. I can never pronounce this, so I'm not going to attempt to. As for Eidolon, she's at Eidolon 0. Alright, on to the second half, starting off with Acheron. These are her stats. Changed her up to my 135 speed Acheron instead of the base speed Acheron. Obviously, you want her to be a little bit faster for pure fiction. Signature Lycone at S1. Traces. Relics. Eidolon, she's at Eidolon 2. Alrighty, next is Pela. These are her stats. Lycone is the Sweaty Lycone at S4. Traces, which may or may not need a little bit more work. There's a little extra effect hit right here, and I feel like this, if I got this to a higher level, I feel like her energy rotations might be a lot faster than they already are. Like, she already generates a lot of energy, that's why I've been holding back on leveling this up, but maybe I should probably put a little bit more investment into it. Relics, she's on a 2-piece speed set and a broken keel set. I actually have an ice damage boost orb on her just for a little bit of extra damage. I don't think it makes that much of a difference. But I figured since we're running Fushen, there's no way she's gonna die, so I could squeeze in maybe a little bit of extra damage on her orb. As for Eidolon, she's at Eidolon 6. And speaking of Fushen, she's next. These are her stats. Lycone is the trend of the universal market at S4. Next is her traces, which I actually did put a little bit more investment into. I got the effect resist node just so I could have enough effect resist for the broken keel set. I was like, screw it. It's only a few trace materials, but honestly, I should unlock the HP node as well and probably put more investment too. I just realized I could have unlocked this one for a lot cheaper. Instead, I decided to unlock this one, which cost more. Wow. I'm actually trolling at this point. Oh well, it happens, guys. I could put more investment in her traces. That's pretty much the summary of this this entire thing. These are her relics, 2-piece speed set and a 2-piece HP set, with a broken keel planar set. As for Eidolon, she's at Eidolon 0. Alrighty, last and definitely not least is my Tribby. These are her stats. I have a super fast Tribby, different from the traditional slow Tribby that some people like to build, or most people will build are probably slow. Her Lycone is Dance 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 at S4. These are her traces. Still need to max out that skill, but we're going to save up until the double trace event drop. And then these are her relics. 2-piece speed, as usual. That's how you get fast characters nowadays. I'm actually so happy they made, or they released so many 2-piece speed sets. So now you don't have to go digging for speed subs, or you don't need to have like crazy speed rolls in order to hit those speed thresholds or speed breakpoints. Planar Sphere is the energy regeneration set. As for Eidolons, she's at Eidolon 0. Okay guys, well that's going to be it for this Honkai Star Rail video. I'll see you guys next time. Take care and peace.
Existence as fleeting as the dawn's dew, destined for oblivion. I weep for the departed.